Hello everyone and welcome to Amazing History Facts. Today's edition is a bite-sized history of fast food. I credit the pictures, the picture I used in the thumbnail and this segment to it's History Facts. If you'd like to check it out, historyfacts.com, I imagine. Yeah. Check out there. There's a lot of stuff on there that's very, very interesting, and I just wanted to give them credit for the, article and the picture I used for my thumbnail. Okay, so, all right. Yes, the history of fast food, and our first fast food restaurant was, of course, White Castle. And I can't help but notice the birds up here. They're like, hey man, this is going to be a great place to get some crumbs and maybe a few fries or something. You know, let's wait until they're done and we'll go down there and check it out. Okay. Let's see if it goes right to it like this. Okay. It says the existence of ready-made food has been around for centuries. From ancient Rome's takeout restaurants known as thermopolia to the bread, soup, and meat vendors that have populated the streets of metropolitan centers around the world since antiquity. So they've had restaurants all the way back as in Rome. However, the burgers, fries, wings, and milkshakes that constitute the typical fast food meal today are a more recent invention and a distinctly American one. Here's a brief taste on how a colossal global industry took flight. And I find this first one here very interesting. It's called The Rise of Automats. Check these out. They kind of remind me of a primitive one but in Japan, they've got all kinds of automated food vendors, vending machines and stuff, and what it is they got food in these little doors and you have to put however much it says, and change. Of course now they'd probably have to accept dollar bills since nothing's cheap, and then once you put the right amount of money in there, you can open it and get what's in it. So I'd never seen anything about that. But let's read what it says. A direct predecessor of it's the rise of automats. A direct predecessor of modern fast food service were the automats that fed urbanites in the northeastern U.S. in the early 20th century. Essentially a self-service cafeteria, the automat features rows of windowed compartments along its walls from which hungry customers could retrieve an array of prepared dishes by depositing a coin. A coin? Introduced in Berlin, Germany in 1895, this new form of casual dining made its way to Philadelphia in 1902, courtesy of restaurateurs Joe Horn and Frank Hardart. The concept hit its stride after Horn and Hardart debuted their service in the busy New York City neighborhood of Times Square in 1912, and then expanded to more than 80 locations across the Big Apple and Philly. However, the popularity of the automat began to decline as city dwellers increasingly migrated to the suburbs after World War II, and the service slowly fizzled out over the following decades, though it saw a comeback amid the COVID-19 pandemic. Really, even during the pandemic, that would keep the employees making the food and everything like that and putting it in there. That would keep them kind of safe. But if you ask me, touching those doors and using coins and touching around that area, to me that would still be kind of a risk, wouldn't you think? Maybe not. They would have to really sanitize it all the time, it seemed like. Okay. But I never did hear about any of them during the pandemic either. Like I said, that's the first time I've seen anything like that, so I was rather surprised in it. Okay. White Castle introduces the hamburger chain And see, they got like holes in there, I guess, from the cookie, more even. As described in Adams Chandler's book Drive-Through Dreams, a cook named Walt Anderson began stop moving around. I hate it when it does that. Churning out batches of small square hamburgers from his stand in Wichita, Kansas in 1916. Although Americans were leery of ground beef following the expose of the meatpacking industry that featured in Upton Sinclair 1906 model The Jungle, Anderson's eased those concerned by preparing his food in public view. Locals quickly took the compact 5-cent burgers, later known as sliders, and Anderson soon opened 2 more stands. Stop moving. In 1921, he teamed with real estate broker Billy Ingram to open a 4th location in a building that resembled a small castle, a look that partly inspired the new eatery's moniker White Castle. So what was it really called before that then? I'm not really sure. Okay, as burger stands began popping up with increasing frequency throughout the decade, Anderson and Ingram sought to distinguish their chain through the comfort of uniformity. Regardless of location, diners enjoyed burgers and coffee that were prepared in accordance with exact instructions amid interior dining areas marked by white painted walls, stainless steel counters, and identically dressed servers. Okay, drive-ins and drive-throughs catered to cars. Here's an old drive-in. Some of these pictures are, the resolution's not very good on them. At the same time that Kansans were familiarizing themselves with the White Castle brand, Texas were being introduced to a new form of dining service. Visitors hankering for a pork sandwich or other barbecue fare from the Dallas-based pig stand didn't even have to leave their vehicles, as they were greeted by smiling car hops who were ready to order and retrieve meals for them. As mentioned in Drive-Through Dreams, considering the number of cars on American roads grew from 9 million in 1920 to 23 million in 1931, wow, it was only natural that drive-in restaurants became a staple across the American landscape in the following decades. The next phase in driver-orienting dining came with the emergence of the drive-through restaurant in the late 1940s. Although it's unclear exactly where this service first originated, credit is often given to Red's Giant Hamburg on Route 66 in Springfield, Missouri in 1948. That year also brought the drive-through to Southern California with the very first In-N-Out burger. Wow, that's one's been around that long, In-N-Out, which began expanding to other regional locations in the 1950s. Wow. McDonald's changes the game. Boy, here's an oldie. 15 cents. Buy 'em by the bag. Meanwhile, another change in the industry was underway. Richard and Maurice McDonald built a successful burger drive-in restaurant in San Bernardino, California in 1940, but eventually sought enhanced efficiency for their business. By 1948, the brothers had gotten rid of car hops and short-order cooks, divided food preparation into individual stations, simplified their menu, and replaced dishes and glassware with disposable versions. This speedy service system, as it was called, enabled the brothers to rake in even larger profits and directly inspired competitors such as Keith G. Kramer, who opened a chain that became Burger King in 1953. Around that time, the development of the interstate highway system and migration to the suburbs that hastened the demise of automats also ignited a fast food boom that was no longer primarily centered on hamburgers. Kitty's down here. Colonel Harlan Sanders, who began experimenting with a pressure cooker at his gas station eatery in the 1930s, started franchising his Kentucky Fried Chicken recipe to restaurants in 1952. Brothers Dan and Frank Carney introduced the first Pizza Hut in Wichita in 1958. Glenn Bell switched from burgers to taco in 1954 before launching Taco Bell in Downey, California in 1962. And 17-year-old Fred DeLuca teamed up with nuclear physicist Peter Buck to open the sandwich chain that became Subway in Bridgeport, Connecticut in 1965. With so many options for consumers to choose from, fast food entrepreneurs sought to expand their businesses both nationally and overseas. Early pioneers in the international space included KFC, which brought the Colonel's secret recipe to Canada in 1955, and Mexico. I don't know if that meant to say Canada in 1955. They didn't put a space. In Mexico in 1963, and A&W, which cracked the Asian market with shops in Malaysia and Japan in 1963. Wow, A&W had places in the Asian market in 1963? Wow. Okay, innovating advertising, and that's what the Egg McMuffin used to look like. It's probably half as big now. As the 20th century pressed on, the fast food industry's major players pursued various marketing and promotional techniques to reel in more customers. The now defunct Burger Chef was the first to offer burger, fries, and drink combo meal after the franchise launched in the late 1950s. Burger Chef also proved ahead of the game with the debut of their food and toy fun meal for kids in 1973, although they were unsuccessful at blocking McDonald's from nationally rolling out the Happy Meal in 1979. Yeah, I mean, the Happy Meal's been around for a while. While the mid-Atlantic chain Ray's King Burger claims it became the first fast food restaurant to offer breakfast in 1972, McDonald's had already been selling breakfast items at select locations. The fast food giant then upped the ante by introducing the Egg Benedict-based Egg McMuffin sandwich in 1972, before unveiling its national breakfast menu in 1977. Following the onslaught of advertising between McDonald's, Burger King, and upstart Wendy's that marked the burger wars of the 80s, Wendy's created a model for smaller chains to follow by introducing 99-cent value menu for 1989. And we used to love that. I mean, you could get, we would get like a burger, and the chili, and a baked potato, all 99 cents each. And that'd be all you could eat. I mean, that would be enough to fill you up, is what I'm saying, a lot, easy. Sometimes we just got the chili and the potato and dumped the chili on the potato, and ate it that way. Just $2, Those are the good old days, let me tell you. We went there a lot during that time. Okay, following the onslaught of advertising, upstart Wendy's created a model for smaller chains to follow by introducing the 99-cent value. McDonald's also established a menu trend in 1987 with the introduction of supersized meals that provided bigger portions before discontinuing the option in 2004. A turn to healthier choices. You see a salad bar. The death of the supersized meal was partly due to shifting public tastes that sought healthier choices for quick dining. While the innovators at Burger Chef offered salads as far back as 1974, and Wendy's debuted a salad bar in 1979, the major franchises largely delivered the same high sodium and high calorie content until the 2001 satirical film Fast Food Nation and Morgan Spurlock's 2000 documentary Supersize Me called attention to rising obesity rates and environmental problems caused by the production and consumption of this type of food. While most fast food joints opted not to follow Burger King's introduction of a vegetarian patty in 2002, an examination of 20 popular chains between 2004 and 2015 revealed industry-wide efforts to add healthier items to menus, particularly for children. And the rise of the franchises such as Kava, Veggie Grill, and Native Foods provided diners with an array of genuinely nutritious options for quick service meals. Today, regardless of whether consumers seek a lower calorie grilled chicken wrap or the old standby burger and fries, fast food remains as popular as ever, with this American contribution to the culinary industry accounting for 978 billion in global sales in 2023. And that is the end of it. And they have so many interesting, different ones. I'm going to try, like I said, to do this at least once a week. I hope y'all enjoy it. I'll try to find things that's, that are interesting. Some of them I've looked through quite a few, and some of them are not as interesting as I'd like, so I have plenty to pick from. They send me about 3 a day, it seems like, 3 or 4 a day, so anyway, it's something different, something to get your little brainer size in. And I just think it's good to learn stuff, and I like learning about history and stuff like that. So anyway, I hope y'all did enjoy it. If you did, I hope you'll press that like button. Also subscribe if you haven't already, and share this out, and hit that so you get all my videos as soon as they come out. Everybody, I hope you have a great day, and we'll see you later on. God bless.